One thing about iPhones, they certainly love to be zoomed in when you're shooting video. Hey folks, it's Ben. I'm here with this sweet 2008 or 9, maybe an 8. Find out, it'll be right in the title. Chevy Uplander. It's got the 3.9 liter V6. The issue we're having with this lovely vehicle, and this is my mother-in-law's car, is that we have poor heat output. It was super cold here in Alberta last week or two, down to like negative 40 Fahrenheit or Celsius, take your pick. And she's just getting no heat, which kind of sucks when you're driving down the road. So did a little poking around and stuff, and the coolant level was a little low, so that's going to cause an issue for the heater core on these things. Plus it's probably been since forever since they actually had the coolant change. So we're going to go ahead and do a flush and refill it with that here. Let me show you some of the players that we're going to be doing today. Number one, we've got some, start at the beginning I guess. We've got some Dexcool equivalent type Napa coolant. I got 2 gallons of that, and then I have a bunch of jugs here that are empty because we're going to need to mix this stuff down eventually. We're going to be flushing it first. Thorough flush by Iron Tight, I guess. Recommended by my Napa guy to say, hey, you know, this works pretty good. You got to dissolve this in a jug of water, put it in the calf, and then over here I've got some 5 gallons of RO water, which we'll actually mix with the Dexcool equivalent when we do the final fill. But before we get there, we've got a jug of tap water over there too. Let me grab my awesome light, show you what we're doing. Right here we've got our coolant tank, which I started hair work a little ahead of time. It just sits on that cross member there, so I just popped it up. Here's our fill. So here's our engine, right? We have our radiator cap fill, which I've got tightened down because the tank was going to come out here. We have obviously radiator lines and things. The radiator itself doesn't actually have a cap, so it's pretty much bled in kind of like my Caprice through the hoses, and this in theory is the high point, although honestly if you look it's not. The heater hoses, which is where the problem is, are actually the problem. Now why I didn't just flush the heater core, run it water through it backwards or whatever, is kind of a mess back here. A, it's a van, so they're already deep under the dash. Number 2, there's 2 heater cores in this thing, right? Because it's a van, so you got a front heater core and a rear heater core. So to be able to rinse one and the other, and you know, these connections aren't too bad, but there's one here and one that's right behind it there. And we may pop those. We'll see how it goes this week if we need to bleed them off because they are a high point, but maybe that water pump's gonna power to blow air through. We'll find out soon enough. Anywho, they go back and then they tee off. So one goes to the front heater core, one goes to the back. It's kind of a pain. I did a video, I'll link to it now on my Caprice, which is fairly straightforward. You know, just did the heater core and that worked like a charm. But like I said, the coolant needs to be replaced in this thing anyway. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've already cracked that. The car is warm but not hot, so there's no pressure in the system. And I purchased, the missus purchased, I guess one of these bed rolly storage things. Long story short though, when you're changing coolant, I don't want to dump it on the ground, but I need a big surface to catch it with. So hopefully it won't be too bad. And I'm gonna drain the coolant system. And there's already some wet down there, but it's also kind of super rainy too. So, because it's like 40 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now, so it's kind of crazy. Anyway, let's find a pepcock on this thing and drain it. The thorough flush says just take out 1 gallon and then mix up another gallon, put it in and run it for 10 minutes. But in this case, I'm just going to dump it all out since it's all old crap. Then I'll put the gallon of that stuff in, then I'll put the rest of it with water, then we'll run it, then we'll drain it, then we'll refill it, then we'll drain it, and then we'll put our Dexcool in. So that's what the plan is, Stan. So let's go ahead and get to work. 4 minutes, crap. I'll let the camera roll just for reference. We're going underneath the driver's side of the vehicle. Ooh, crawling my butt under here. My board that has nails that face down if you do it right. Crawling under the car. Here we've got a radiator and bam, right there, that little guy. Just have to pop him out and that's gonna drain everything out. That'll be fantastic. The radiator isn't actually too hard to get on this thing, so that's pretty cherry. Everything else is pretty cool. Okay, let's do that. Took my coat off because I'm a slim arm guy. If I reach down, nope, not that way. Yeah, I was hoping I could kind of reach it from the top, but I don't want to get my Fitbit. Oh, wait, no, no. Nope, I'm trying that one. Let's go from the bottom, I guess. Coming down from the side. I kind of remember where it was here, right? Reach up here. It's a little shield. There's a fan. There it is. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Man, that thing is probably on really tight. I was hoping because it was plastic, it wouldn't be crazy, but it moved a little bit. I'm winded turning the damn screw. What the hell? I'm gonna have to get some pliers on that. Right onto the front. There we go. Got our light behind me. By the way, other thing, I put it up on blocks just because it's hard to get under these things when you're fat like me. Okay, there's the white thing I want. Come here, white thing. See how I can do this. How embarrassing it will be for you two. Oh. Probably could use some water pump pliers just as easy. I can't see anything anyway. Got it just a lick loose with the pliers there. So hopefully it's not gonna go down my arm. Oh, there she comes. Oh, I see. Get down that hole. Cool beans. Wow, that's gonna be a hell of a long drain. Okay. Yeah, that's just a little valve thing. Leave it there. Let her go. Let's go and do the cap. Oof. I don't know if I'll ever get that tied in again. You know, Ben, it would be smart if you went and got your flashlight. Overexposed. There we go. Should be so that. Hi. Got this long neck that goes down to the thermostat housing, I presume, down there. And there's an upper radiator hose there, lower radiator hose there, and then the heater core goes off that way and around. But long story short, they treat this as the high part of the system, which is fine for that. But we'll let that all drain out till it stops. Me having it on blocks may or may not put a little coolant in the block, but you're not going to get 100% of this thing, right? It's the same with transmission fluids. When you just drop the pan, you're not going to get everything in the torque converter, but that's not the point. You're hopefully doing this as preventative maintenance, not, oh crap, I got to get it all out maintenance. So the stuff that's in there might not be the best, but it's not going to be the worst either. So we'll let that drain. I'll save you the worries. Go take some pictures. Well, what was a stream is now down to a little dribble. Not really a dribble, but I did throw some more water in there, and it is coming out fairly clear, kind of. We got a quantity in there, so let me reach up here, turn the thing to off. There we go. Righty tighty. Sweet. Seems like it would be a pain to replace if I broke it, so let's not do that. It's rubbery though. That's that. Cool. So that's off. We'll leave the pan here because we've got more to collect. Back to the top. No, it's like, all right. So there are my jugs. These have tap water in them now for my jug here. Let's put this stuff in. You're supposed to mix it in as a gallon. Now the instructions are very clear. It says add a pint. Of course, this is Canada, right? So we don't know what the hell we're talking about. So it's 16 ounces or 454 grams pint. Sure. Okay. So it does say a whole can will do a small vehicle or car. So I'm guessing that's what they mean by that. So see if I can do it cool style, which I can't. Hold on. I don't know if this stuff is fizzy or what the hell. But I've been off gassing the tap water because it's full of methane. My tap water is effervescent. We don't generally drink it. So we got that in there. Next we got to add water. So we get from this one here. Let's try to hit the container. That's probably good enough for that. Let's put the this cap back on, and from a variety of the lids over here, let's grab one of these and turn it around a little bit. Try not to get it on us. All right, I'm gonna cover up my camera shot. It's nice to put it in this bottle first because, yeah, it's still got a bunch of crusties on the bottom, but it treats 6 gallons and I'm barely doing 2. So let's fill this puppy up, fill the rest with water, and run her. That was anticlimactic. It's a half a gallon. Oh, this thing's gonna burp awful. Guess I'll fire her up there and let the water pump do a little churn in work for me. A little churn and burn. That sounds thirsty. No, it doesn't. What the hell, dude? Frothy. I guess we'll just keep filling it up until it's full. Guess we didn't get that much coolant out. I think when it's running, I'll back it up. That'll put the nose a little lower, and maybe we'll get a little bit more of this cleaner out. I've only put half a gallon in. There's more than that in the tray. Well, that didn't go as planned. So, in trying to get our lovely little chemical in the car, it took about a half a gallon of it. But I swear there's more than that in this, but maybe I'm just crazy. That could be. But, yeah, it didn't empty it like I thought it would through the lowest point on the system. Maybe it got airlocked somehow, I'm not sure. It's, again, my heater core is higher than the rest of it, so I know I wouldn't have cleared anything out of that. But, so, running the car didn't do anything. So you put the lid on. As you can tell, if you don't, it sprays everywhere. Put the lid on, rev it. You can put some more in, put some more in. But what I'm just going to do now is the car is hot, so I'm going to open the drain cock again and let this drain out. Then I'll put some more in. Then we'll let it do its idling thing for 10 minutes or so, and then we'll try to flush it. We'll probably do 2 flushes before we actually put the coolant back in it again. Since if it's only going to take half a gallon, I got lots. While I'm re-draining, I'm going to take this little guy here. This is the hose to the expansion tank. We'll back up the clip here, and we'll wiggle this little guy out here. We might need a screwdriver. That nipple goes all the way into here, up to there. And it just kind of clips on top of the radiator and over to the tank. The tank has 3 clips, this one and that one, which just clip onto the cross member here, and then a little plastic plug right here. Screwdriver pops that out and the tank is free. So I'll get a screwdriver, push this off, and we'll clean out that tank. Still dripping. Well, FYI, lesson learned. Gotcha. Keep her on her nose. Took about 1.5 gallons that time, so that's pretty good news for that. So So now we have the rest of our clean in. So now we're going to do our cleaning. So we'll fire it up and let her idle and get some water pumping through it. And we'll periodically check it, put some water in it. Meanwhile, we'll let it idle, get it hot with the hose off here, and we'll clean that tank out while it's getting warm. We'll put that back on and put some water in there so it can pull and draw off that if it needs to. So check out this, I'm going to say shitty system. I guess it's alright, but I'm not a fan. So we have our hose that goes to our housing, and then we have our tank suction here, right? Because the suction is actually on top of the tank, and it reaches down into the coolant and pulls it that way. So if your level gets low in your tank, but you still have some, it still could not, it could be just drawing air. So that's kind of, when it's right on the bottom, it's like there's water or there isn't. But in this case, it's by the tube. So it could totally, if this tank isn't full to the rim with brim almost, then you're just putting air in your system. So that's kind of stupid, but I got the tank rinsed out pretty good with water, and it's fairly yellow, but that stuff is really hard, because I'm sure this is, well, that's really good though, holy crap. Can't do it with one hand. There we go. It's got that film in there, but it's really hard, like, might dissolve out with heat. But that's clean enough for this car. So we'll put this thing back in, fill it with water, and then we'll do our run. Putting this thing back in, there's actually another point you got to look out for, and there's a slide in on the tank right there that goes into a slot in the fender. Then you have the button that goes here into the hole, and then of course you got the clamps that go on the cross member there. So if you got all those lined up and push her down in, she'll go. And then you can see on the radiator here, these poles and that hose, which I got to run under this beam, but clicks into those all the way along the top and back over to your fill point on your engine. Alright, so I got it up to running temp, enough for the fans to even kick on. System got up to pressure, we let it sit there for a while. Still have to put your foot on the accelerator to get any heat out of the heater core, so I did that so that we had actual cleanser going through the heater core. Never got it out of the rear heater core, on the rear air conditioning, if you will, so we'll see how that goes. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, we'll drain all this cleaner out of our car, we'll refill it with clean water, then we'll do the whole thing over again, then we'll see how it looks coming out. If it's pretty clean and clear coming out, then we might go ahead and put our coolant in. If I don't like it, if it still looks like it's got some orange in it, we'll do it one more time, and then we'll be able to put our cooler mix in. Cooling mix here is going to be, I'm actually going to hook up the 2 gallons, what we have here. Now, I'm in Alberta, and we routinely, I'm not going to say routinely, but can get to -40, -42 as a temperature. So in order to achieve that, we don't have to worry too bad. 50-50 gets us to -37, but a little bit over that gets us to -52, 60-40. So we don't have to go maybe like a 55%. So what I'm going to do mostly is drop these guys down to about 55% empty, so about half full, a little over half full on each one. We'll put the remainder in these containers. Actually, I'll probably fill one up. I'll only have, if I have 2 gallons and I put that amount in there, then half and half make a full. So you can go by that kind of math that you go there. And then put a little bit more back in each side, and then mix it with this RO water, and then we'll have our coolant. The rest of the RO water we'll use for cleaning now, since my tap water is probably fairly nasty. So that's the plan, Stan. I'll show you with the mixed bottles next. There's a lot of waiting involved. That pepcock's nice, but it's slow. So we'll wait. I got one more fill with clean water and drain to go. Just because that heater core in the back is so far away, I want to make sure I get all that line cleared out. Then we'll drain everything, including the recovery tank, which is just full of water right now. And we'll fill her back up. In sitting here waiting for the thing to drain and then refilling it again, maybe I'm not so far off on my block thing. Obviously my drain's on the right, my fill's on the left. For the last one, let's go ahead and throw her on the ramp on one side. That's going to tilt the whole girl over this way. And that'll put my fill at the top and my drain at the bottom, and that sounds like a smart idea. Probably isn't though, because the lower radiator hose is on the high side and the upper's on the lower side, but whatever. Last fill, it's just a double check kind of thing. I could probably get away with putting coolant in it now, but like I said, that rear heater core is so far away. Damn it. Okay. Jeez, this takes forever with that little drain. In fact, I've been draining out my coolant, putting it in bottles over there, and I'm taking my time filling it. If you take your time, it tends to fill better. Squeeze the radiator hoses, things like that, kind of work the bubbles out of it. Man, what a pain in the butt. I don't think I've ever had a car so hard to put coolant in or even change out. Buick, even I had a 93 Pontiac Grand Prix with a 3.4 twin dual overhead cam V6 in it. At least had bleeder valves. You fire the puppy up, you crack those open till they start spraying coolant everywhere and you're done. But, okay. So, I have it full of Dexcool equivalent coolant, and I put 100% Dexcool in the tank. That's because I need to counter the water that's in the block now. Like the heater cores in theory are full of water, not coolant. So to mix them in correctly, and rest assured there'll be lots of air bubbles in this thing for sure. We're gonna run it for the couple days and then keep constantly checking it. But the bubbles should work out, but they're gonna come from that tank, so we'll be sucking Dexcool back into the system via that way. I'm going to hop in it. We're going to get it outside. I'm going to put more coolant in it because inevitably it will need some more. And then we'll take it for a test drive. All right, buddy. It's full of coolant in theory. I ran it for a spin. There's some coolant in it. So she's doing pretty good now. She's got all her brake lights on, so that's a win. And we'll take it for a quick spin here, maybe see if we can put her in the catch-up. Oh wait, I can't. This stupid RPM tachometer has no red zone. If she's good for 7 grand, boys. Maybe not, but anyway, I shouldn't do this and drive, so I'll see you in a sec. That is that. I've seen enough of this Uplander. Oh, it's windy. That's gonna be awful in the mic. Up she goes. I miss the days. I can't say that without prop rods. My Grand Prix, no prop rod, baby. That's the way to go. All right, so the not pressurized yet. Right? Yeah, no pressure. More to put in there. Little tank over here, squirting some in there. I got some in the back. Got more bleed cycles, and I think we'll have this baby bled. In the butt. Oh, I want to do it all at once. Keys in ignition, by the way, just in case you didn't know. So that's that. I'm calling this successful, although the reality is you really won't know for a week. And the fluid level slowly creeps back. Because I don't need to. Okay, cool. Before it gets out. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them. Comments. You suck. That sort of thing. Go ahead. I'll take those too. And, mint! Thanks for watching. Leave any questions or comments down below. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for awesome updates on what I'm doing. Please check out the next video I've got lined up for you. And also check out my Patreon page if you want to support what we're doing here. And finally, check out my other less tractory page, Red Barn Homestead. You can subscribe to that too. See some awesome stuff. And we'll see you next time.